Welcome to Fabloria, where we listen, we relax, and we enjoy timeless fairy tale stories. In a distant and tranquil kingdom, nestled between misty mountains and glimmering rivers, there reigned a wise and valiant king named Edmund Valen. His realm was prosperous, the people loyal, and peace had reigned for many years. King Edmund was fortunate in many ways, yet his heart harbored a secret sorrow. He had two queens whose hearts could not have been more different. The first, Queen Isabella, was of a distinguished noble lineage, her family known for their ambition and cunning. Though beautiful, her mind was sharp, proud, and unyielding, often consumed by jealousy whenever Edmund showed affection for anyone besides her. In contrast, the king's second wife, Queen Seraphina, came from humble origins, a commoner whose simplicity, gentle manners, and pure-hearted nature had captivated Edmund from the start. Her kindness was effortless, and her warmth drew the king's affection naturally. Edmund had chosen Seraphina out of love, not duty, a decision that sparked a quiet, simmering envy in Isabella's heart. Time passed, and the palace buzzed with preparations for joyous news. Queen Seraphina was expecting a child. The announcement filled Edmund's heart with delight, yet for Isabella it was a torment. She had longed for children herself, but had none, and the thought of the king lavishing attention on Seraphina's offspring ignited a consuming jealousy that clouded her every thought. One quiet afternoon, while Seraphina's personal cook prepared a simple meal in her chamber, Isabella saw her opportunity. With practiced stealth, she entered the dining room and covertly mixed a deadly, rare poison into the dish, smiling to herself as she imagined the chaos that would follow. When the food was served, Seraphina ate a few bites before pain struck her body violently. Her cheeks turned pale, her eyes widened in shock, and she collapsed onto the cushions. Hearing the commotion, King Edmund rushed into the chamber, panic gripping his heart. The royal physician was summoned at once. With careful hands and a somber expression, the doctor examined the queen, then spoke in a voice tight with worry. "Your Majesty, the queen has ingested a potent and rare toxin. Her condition is grave, and the unborn child is also at risk." Before Edmund could react further, Isabella entered the chamber, curtsying with deceptive grace. "Your Majesty," she said softly, "I saw the maid handling the food in a suspicious manner. It must have been her." The king, terrified for Seraphina's life, immediately ordered the maid arrested, trusting Isabella's words without question. With his heart heavy, Edmund turned back to the queen and pleaded, "Is there no antidote? Save her life! Save the child at all costs!" The physician shook his head gravely. "Your Majesty, this is no ordinary poison. It is rare, and the remedies in our dispensary cannot counter it. There is, however, one possibility. Far in the mountains of Arendor, an ancient herbalist named Madeline Vale resides. It is said she knows the ways of mystical plants. Perhaps she can help." Time was critical. The king dispatched his most skilled soldiers to the rugged peaks of Arendor. They climbed through thorny forests, crossed roaring streams, and scaled rocky cliffs with unwavering determination. Hours seemed like days as the sun descended behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the land. Finally,
one soldier spotted a single glowing pink flower atop the highest peak. It shimmered in the fading light, as if lit from within. "We have found it!" he shouted. The soldiers harvested the flower with utmost care and raced back to the palace.
Madeline Vale herself guided the king in preparing the flower. Dissolved in water, it was administered to Queen Seraphina just before sunset. Almost instantly, the poison's effects began to recede, and life returned to the queen. Tears of relief streamed down Edmund's face as he held his beloved in his arms. Within days, Seraphina gave birth to a daughter of unmatched beauty. Her skin was pale and smooth like moonlight, and her eyes were a deep, oceanic blue. The king named her Princess Neela, or the Blue Princess, in honor of her eyes. Yet the joy of her birth was short-lived. As Seraphina wiped her baby's tears, a sudden searing pain burned her hand as if fire had touched it. The royal physician, summoned again, examined the newborn with dread.
"Your Majesty," he said, voice trembling, "the poison that nearly took the Queen's life has left its mark. The child, she is born with a unique and dangerous power. Her breath, even her touch, carries a lethal toxin that can harm anyone near her." News of the Blue Princess's condition spread like wildfire. Citizens, frightened and ignorant of the truth, demanded she be removed. "She will poison us all!" the crowds cried outside the palace gates. King Edmund, though grieving and heartbroken, knew the safety of his people must come first. With tears staining his cheeks, he approached Seraphina. "We must take her away, my love," he said, his voice trembling. "I cannot risk the lives of our people. I will protect her, but she must live in isolation." Seraphina refused, falling at his feet. "No, Edmund, my daughter is innocent. You cannot abandon her." But the king's resolve could not waver. Wrapping the princess carefully, he rode far from the city, through forests and mountains, until he reached a hidden valley, lush yet isolated. There he laid Neela on soft grass, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Forgive me, my child. I am a king, but today I am powerless." And with a heavy heart, he left her there alone. Neela's cries pierced the silent valley. The sky darkened, and even the forest creatures seemed to mourn. Fate, however, intervened in the form of a gentle fairy named Lumina, who often watched over the lands. Seeing the forsaken child, Lumina descended, creating a fountain of milk from her magic to quench Neela's hunger. Then, with another wave of her wand, she conjured a small, cozy cottage, soft beds, and all the care the child could need. Lumina nurtured Neela, watching over her as a mother, teaching her kindness and guiding her as she grew. Years passed. Neela blossomed into a young woman of extraordinary beauty. Yet her existence was bittersweet. Every living creature feared her poisonous aura, leaving her lonely. Only Lumina visited regularly, and Neela affectionately called the fairy Mother. One day, a white snake slithered into the valley, sensing the unusual power of the air. It discovered Neela humming sadly inside her cottage. She recoiled, knowing that her poison could kill. "Stay away! You could die!" she cried. Yet the snake approached unharmed. Surprised, Neela realized he was immune. Overjoyed, she whispered, "Maybe we can be friends. I have no one else." The snake became her constant companion. She shared her thoughts, sorrows, and laughter, hiding him from Lumina whenever the fairy visited. Over time, their bond grew so deep that Neela began to wish he were human,
someone who could truly talk to her. One night, her wish was granted. A bright light enveloped the snake, and he transformed into a tall, handsome young man named Prince Jalen, a serpent prince of the mystical Naga-Ok realm.
"I am here to end your loneliness," he said softly. "I am immune to your poison, and I too carry serpent magic. Together, we can protect each other." Neela was stunned. She cried, "But I am dangerous. I could kill anyone, even you. How can we be together?" Jalen smiled and took her hands. "Your poison cannot harm me. We are both of this world and the next. Trust me." Their friendship blossomed into love. Lumina, watching from afar, approved, revealing Neela's true heritage. Her mother had been poisoned by Queen Isabella, and her daughter's venomous power was a protective gift, one that had preserved her life. To reunite Neela with her family safely, Lumina gave her a magical pearl that allowed her to take the form of a blue serpent, containing her deadly power until she reached the palace.
Disguised as serpents, Neela and Jalen approached the kingdom. They navigated secret passages, evading guards, until they reached King Edmund, who sat alone, mourning the years lost. Transforming back into their human forms, they revealed themselves. "Father," Neela said, tears flowing freely, "I am your daughter, Princess Neela." She recounted the tale of her mother's poisoning, Isabella's treachery, and her years in hiding. The king was stunned, grief and relief mingling in his heart. A thorough investigation confirmed the truth. Hidden vials of poison were found in Isabella's chambers, proving her crimes. Justice was swift. Queen Isabella was removed from power, banished from the kingdom, and the realm celebrated the return of the Blue Princess. With Lumina's blessing, Neela and Jalen were married in a grand ceremony. Peace and joy returned, and the princess's power, once feared, became a symbol of protection and love. From that day on, the kingdom of Edmund Valen flourished, with the Blue Princess and her serpent prince guarding the people, ensuring that no evil would ever threaten them again. And so, Neela's story became legend, a tale of courage, love, and the triumph of goodness over jealousy and treachery.